kneeling chairs?
Yeah, it is.
Do you
Yeah,
like it?
I love it.
Oh, I
Yeah, it's really, I have a terrible, terrible back. So I can't really, I mean, I can obviously sit in other chairs, but that's what I need for the long term. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're great. Yeah, highly recommend.
A kneeling chair. What's a kneeling chair?
Do you want me to demonstrate?
I'd love that.
Now you're gonna get to see what I'm hanging out in today because you're the only ones I get to see on the screen. And can you see the whole thing?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
we
so
can see the whole thing.
yeah, so you just sort of straddle it and you sit like this
Oh,
and
yeah.
you can rock back and forth, right? But it forces you to sit up really straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, thank you for demonstrating. My dad has a really bad back, so it might be nice to have one of those for when he comes downstairs to hang out in the front room with all of us in the living space. Yeah. Anyway,
It's a ergonomic miracle. Yeah.
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 All right. So what's here for us today? We got a little bit of time together.
Yeah.
How do we want to spend this time?
Did you have something on your mind already, Arielle?
well, I'll just like put out what is on
Yeah.
my mind. We'll see what. Um, I I've been like noodling around this question of like, how do I be when I'm not in the creating space? And how do I kind of like organize my thinking and doing when I'm in the kind of building time?
Yeah.
I've had like the summer months have been quieter, and cleaning away um and I'd like a kind of dip in some consulting work, and I feel like I'm doing things, and like moving, doing the kind of like top of the funnel sorts of things. I'm doing the kind of brand building things, but my mindset around it is still, I'll tell you, like, is still the like, that's not the real work.
Mm.
And like that, you're like, it's not the real work. And I find it like is kind of getting in my way, because I like sometimes like kind of like lose enthusiasm about it or get distracted. And anyhow, so I think what's present for me is like a distracting mindset that the work to build towards creation is I don't know, feels less than.
Mm. Yeah, like when you're in creation mode, you feel like that's happening really easily.
Mm-hmm.
And the funneling and the strategizing and what are the pieces of your build to work? What are some other pieces of it?
Yeah. Well, it's like the connection piece that feels like pretty easy, but it doesn't have that doesn't have like the dopamine hit or the oxytocin hit of the creating. But then like I was thinking about Sonja and like all the love and care and work that you've put into like your social media thing, and right, and just like this stuff, and Gopi, like with your book, like pieces that are like these really care filled, loving, intentional things that um I don't know, like that's sort of I so like some of it is some of it is writing that I want to do. I just started this like a Substack for my newsletter. Some of it is like event planning. But I find, I don't know, it's just there's a kind of like a blah around it.
Yeah.
Can I just offer something or react to
Of
something?
course. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost as if it's like I'm intuiting underneath what you're saying that you're missing, like, what's it adding up to? Like, why is there a missing, like, deeper, like, why am I doing this thing?
I think like intellectually I have a why, but there is a missing, like there's a kind of emptiness around it. And I think I'm so drawn. Part of why I am so alive in the work that I do is because like there's an embodied feeling of like, in it. And I even have like been very thoughtful about like what building I choose to do and how I choose to do it. And there's still like there's something that feels like a little like I don't know, hollow or
Oh,
like just yeah. And I am aware that they're just kind of like there's going to be cycles of the work, like what you were saying, Sonja, about like, oh, I expect to be doing, like I would love it if my client work was like all here, and then I was, in these different energy states, and so I expect that to be true, and I'm just noticing that in this time, I don't get to the end of the day and feel like, wow, I really served, I think is the word,
hmm.
yeah.
Would you like some coaching on it from myself and Sanja?
Yeah, maybe. Although, I mean, I think I would. And before we would jump into it, Sonja,
Yeah.
what's on your mind, heart plate that you want to bring to the space?
Yeah. I'm happy to save mine until next time. So there was two things that were kind of resonating with me this morning. It's interesting that you were talking about social media, Arielle, because I feel like I'm a Luddite. I feel like I haven't done very much social media. I have a beautiful website, but I haven't maximized it. I don't always point people there. I saw it as just sort of a beautiful thing that I needed to have. And yes, there's process in there, and I have some foundational pieces. But anyway, speaking of the social media, I had the person who built my website. I had signed a mini contract with her to actually help me design myself more into the social media sphere. I have a proposal right in front of me. Right, I've actually said yes to the proposal, but I have the scope, like what she's come up with, like right in front of me. It's ready to go, and it's a 12-week thing. And so I just have so much goddamn trepidation about this thing. It's like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to really put myself out there and engage with an audience and put out weekly videos. And it's just like, okay, I really want to challenge myself with this, but not right now. You know, like maybe I could do it in October. So I can just feel that resistance. So that's one thing. And then the other thing I've just been pondering is because of our money conversations. I just find it fascinating topic to continue to figure out, like, where my relationship with money and with charging and just money in general. It's been a topic that has just taken up so much space in my life, and it's changed over time. And like, I'm just curious about prompts for us to continue to go deeper on our relationship with money.
Mm.
Is what it does. Where does it come from? So those were my two things. And I'm very happy to save any of them for the conversation with the whole group too. So
I'm feeling a connection to all three of these things. I'm just gonna riff here. There's the stuckness of building, like the flow of creating, but the stuckness of all the stuff that you need to do before you can get in creation mode. Do you, Ariel, just for some refinement, do you see
Mhm.
building as before creation or do you see it as around creation?
That's a great question. I think potentially there may be some stuckness around the like this. There's like more energetic stuckness around the like building creation than around um, building as part of the creative process. So yeah, I think I probably am thinking about it as the before, especially because it like if I'm thinking about it as like, well, I have to do these things in order to get to the place where I'm creating with my clients.
Okay. Yeah. And like you were saying, top of funnel, and then you're saying the resistance, the trepidation, the like total fear, which I relate to. I have had a group of youth that are supposed to be launching my social media for like almost 6 months now. And they're putting it off because I'm putting it off. I have putting it off energy. So this like being seen, this like showing up, it's freaking terrifying.
And there's part of it too that's like, then they're going to respond, right? I'm probably going to get what I'm looking for. And then I'm going to have to respond to that, right? And I'm not in control of what that is. You know, I don't know what's going to come back and where that'll take me. And so there's a big part of that that's like, oh, I kind of like it right now. I've got my 11, 12 clients, you know, I'm doing fine right now. It's summer, all is good, you know.
I'm gonna get what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I might get what I think I will. That's the thing. That's the thing. I believe that it works that way, right? I set an intent and I'm going to engage with people and they're going to give me something back, you know.
So just connecting that a little bit to the money prompt, and then Arielle, you tell me if the sentence "I'm gonna get what I'm looking for" resonates at all, or has even a little bit of a hint or a tinge in your building before you're doing work. I mean, doing the creative work with a client. This this fear of being seen, this fear of I'm gonna get the money that I'm asking for. I'm just
Yeah.
throwing ideas out here.
Well,
Is
yeah,
that
the creative,
connected to bringing in money? For me, it's very connected to bringing in money, that the money's gonna come and I'm not yet ready for it, that I'm terrified to accept that into my space, that I have so many fears of money being evil or being selfish or being, and so my money mindset that I'm scared I'm gonna get what I'm looking for. I just am connecting it all. You guys tell me what's
Yeah.
on your mind as you think about these.
is there any part of this, Arielle, like, what if I had all the creativeness with my clients I was looking for? I mean, what if I got all of it? Then what would that even be? I mean,
Yeah. I think for me, and any, these are all good directions. I think there's a little bit of like, what if I put in all this time and then I don't?
Oh.
Right? Like I know when like I'm serving a client that like I'm gonna like that they're gonna get what they need. Like that I have like 100% confidence. And 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 I think I have the flip of like, what if I do I do this? What if I build all this stuff? What if I write all these things? And it doesn't, you know, it doesn't produce anything.
It's the rejection because it's not
Yeah.
right there in service. So it's the fear.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also right. There's like a part of like, I'll be seen, you know, that people are going to like read the things that are, you know, that I am putting out and see me and be like, I don't want that. Yeah. What, Sonia, I'm curious on the social media piece. Um, is it that is it that people will see you and want to work with you? Like, is it the you know the flow, or is it about the way that you'll be portrayed, or kind of what?
it's interesting. That's what I was just writing down. You said, you know, will my clients get what they need? Absolutely, 100%. You know, that you're absolutely certain of that. And I think my fear is the opposite. My fear is the opposite is um that I'm not that good, or I'm gonna build up something and then I won't be able to live up to it, right? Because they have something in their minds about me that's out there and that I won't be able to deliver it, right? This is not going to be good enough. They're not going to get what they need. That would be like my biggest, right? So that's so interesting. Just our takes on that, right? Our complete opposites. Because, and again, it's kind of irrational, really, because it is, of course, when I think deeper about coaching, it's not like I can make this happen for a client, right? They're going to have to want it. Yeah. But there was some intruder, there's maybe some old identity stuff too. Gopi, we've talked about like this whole new identity of a coach, right? And there's still some leftover identity from the person that I was, the work life that I had, and the way that most people who are already my clients, except for maybe one or two that are now coming in who didn't know me before, right? Who didn't care and didn't know. But so I think there's some residual left there. Yeah. Yeah.
I think the thread that I'm like seeing through these is like I think like a desire for like authenticity and acceptance in all the stages in all the stages of it, because I feel like when I feel authentic and like self-compassionate, like I can, I have like that, like that's the energy that I need to be present and alive and doing whatever is needed to
Authenticity.
do.
Authenticity and acceptance, and what I'm hearing also from that is self-acceptance. Like when you say acceptance, like we're worried that we're not going to be accepted by others, whether it be that they're not going to read the stuff, or for me, they're not going to accept my numbers, or for Sonja, they're not going to get benefit from the work. There's like a self-acceptance thread here that's coming for me. Like if I accept myself in any state, then I'm doing it primarily for myself because I enjoy it. And then I'm not looking for someone else to accept it or reject it. There's no consciousness awareness of the other. There's only the awareness that I'm in loving service to the divine, and this is my offering. And the world of people that are going to see these videos in social media, or are going to read my words, or are going to say yes or no to the prices, or that they're the ones I'm in service to, but the service flows through me and it doesn't have a clingy energetic to it where I'm worried about them rejecting me, because I'm not looking for the acceptance from them, because I have my acceptance from the deeper space.
Ooh.
It really helps to say out loud, because I do spend more time than I'd like in the stuckness. Like both of you are talking, I relate to both. The stuckness of building, the stuckness of social media, the resistance. Yeah. But I don't know what that brings for you guys.
And well, what you just said, this like when I fully accept myself and my offering as in like loving service to the divine, right? And then it flows through me to other people. And though there is a kind of like pragmatic transactional relationship where one human writes a check to another human, is, and I'm trying to connect to some other things you said, is this like the sense that like when we embrace the abundance of the universe, like that just like that, like you call it in and then it just happens. And so it's like me to the divine in the universe, and then it manifests through these other ways. Because I that idea of like, I'm just going to be okay with me, and that's going to, and I'm going to be okay with me, and I'm going to see the holiness in my own self and in others, but I'm not going to be that clingy. That that really resonates. And there's the like, well, people still need to write me a check.
So I think the way I've done it, because the logical mind of mine really rejects the manifesting stuff, and especially I've got three full scientists in my home who are just like, oh my God, Twitzy. Um, the the way I walk in the world is different when I'm connected internally. I go faster and I don't get affected by the no's or any no energy because I'm myself in play mode or in the zone. And so when I'm not in that space, which is more often than being in that space, I am worried about the no. I'm slower in producing what needs to in the building. I'm scared. I'm tepid. I'm worried. And this is, my all of ours as we're building new things. This is my primary space, just honestly. um, when I'm reminding myself that I'm just a transmission and whoever needs to come comes, maybe out of 10 people that come to write a check and 8 don't. I don't even have any attention on the 8. Like, oh, okay, it's not there yet. Maybe next time we had an amazing talk. Yay, let's go to the next. My sister, she used to say, she used to she used to sell at what do they call those? Milwaukee Brewers games. And then you have people who are selling like um, sports gear. She used to go to is it called the pickup? The beginning part of the game, like before the game starts, everybody's hanging out, and I don't remember what that's called. Like two or three
Tailgate.
tailgate. She used to go to the tailgate parties, and this was because they needed to make money, and they made a lot of money. And she used to just sell like sports gear at the tailgate parties. This is an Indian American girl who's like in her 20s, and her husband and her have figured out a quick way to make money. And it was terrifying because you go one person to the next, to the next, to the next. And she found out that when I'm pitching to one person, I'm not even thinking about their yes or their no. I'm already thinking who's next. Like halfway through my pitch, I'm thinking about who's next. Like the point being that she's not focused on the fact that the guy's going to say, no, no, I got to go ask someone else because you're totally out there. It's just who's next, who's coming my way, and I'm in service. And I'm just going to, if they want it, they want it. If they don't, yay, let's go to the next person. Let's go to the next person. So when I'm in flow and connected to the universe, that's how the checks come in quicker because I have no pause. I don't know if that helps you, Arielle, with that question on the strategy.
Yeah, it does. I think I think it does. And I wonder too whether there's something about, right, like when I'm writing connection emails or when I'm meeting people at an event, I can like channel the energy of your sister at the tailgate. Right? They're like, huh, I'm just out here, I'm just out here. And the deeper I go into like any one build, it's like the longer I'm standing in front of that person, right? The more I'm kind of like, gosh, I'm putting a lot into this thing. And
I think it's about finding your pleasure. Like,
yeah, yeah,
what are you enjoying? What am I, like you said, like self-acceptance. What are we enjoying about this? Like your social media plan. What's the enjoyment in there for you? because you might get 30 views, you might get 3,000 views. And when you look at those views, or you may get comments, you may not get comments, there's so much feeling of rejection. There's so much like, oh my God, is anybody watching this? You're putting yourself completely opening bare to the world. Writing and social media, any type of build, isn't it? You're opening yourself to the wide, wide world, and it's terrifying. So it's like, what do we really love about this? Am I doing this because I really love this? What do I love? How do I love me in this?
I think I love the stretch in this. I mean, I know that I am going to, and I'm going to have to challenge myself. I want to channel Jeremy. I want to challenge myself to deepen my engagement with and knowledge about really my own process, like the swan, the frog, and the seed. I mean, this is the stages in the change process, or you can call it letting go and middle ground and what's the future. I mean, it's all the same. But to me, the challenge for me is deepening my own engagement with the way I see things, and I'm prompting my own learning about it. I mean, the gift is very much for me. Even if only one person read it, there would be so much benefit for myself in doing this, for sure. Absolutely. And I do see that. So that could even be that, now that I think of it. I mean, that might even be the challenge, right? Is it's actually my own growth in here. It's all about, me resisting my own growth. I don't know if that resonates, Arielle.
No, it really does. But it's just a turnaround. It's the like, this isn't for somebody else. This is for me. And like, it's not about, but there are like, it's helpful to have expertise from other people, right? Because like, oh, if you do it this way, like you beat the algorithm or whatever it is. But that it's not about kind of like winning at somebody else's game, but saying like, what, like, where is my growth in this? What am I learning in this? Where am I stretching? How do I want to be with this? And then then I'm like, oh, I really care about that.
Yeah. I know.
And then that's where the trust comes in, or like the trust in the unseen, right?
Yeah.
That if you do this is where I actually do have a lot of trust that it just absolutely will result in a monetary exchange that is worthy of what I have put into it. That word exchange is so interesting, right? Because that's what this is language that I remember. I'm just going to throw this in from my coach and the two spiritual guides that are coming out for the ceremony, Arielle. And this is the language that I have picked up from them, is like this what we give here represents an energetic exchange between us. And for them, it's very much about sort of feeling into what that really is. And there's part of me that kind of believes that actually the more I put into it, and the more that I know my stuff, and that I've worked with my own process, and the authenticity of the development of my own work in this, that's the exchange, and it's worth something. Mm-hmm. And the unseen sees it. The universe sees that. And that's what the money energetic is going to respond to for me then. And for them. I mean, as an exchange. I mean, it's like, it has to totally work for both, right? It has to be completely fair. It has to fill us on both sides of that exchange. Boy, I feel like I'm talking your heads off about this.
I'm wrapping my head around it. Like, I feel like that mindset really appeals to me. Where I can get to in my mind now is like that I can trust myself, and that I can trust myself that if I say like, okay, I'm going to do this, and I do it, and it doesn't feel like the right energetic exchange, right? That it like that, like that doesn't feel fair, even to me, that I can stop. Like that's a trust that I have. Like I was like, okay, well, if I say, like I'm gonna commit to, I'm gonna commit to this class, or I'm gonna commit to this, this contract with somebody, and I'm not feeling like I'm getting it. Like that's also right. Like I have the power to say either like I want more out of this. Like how do I learn and grow and deepen here more, or like this isn't worth my time. Goodbye. I'll move on.
Yeah.
So that I know in my bones, and um, what you're articulating feels like next level higher learning that is available.
Yeah. I recognized, Ariel, that you picked up the cat
Uh-huh.
and were holding her close. And I'm just hold it lightly, throwing a dart at the board, wondering, there feels like there's some emotion that wants to emerge. Hmm. What's the emotion of this building space for you?
That's a great question. I think there's two. One is, I think, to what we were talking about, just the vulnerability of like, oh, I'm really putting myself out here. And, however that's going to be received, like that's a new, it's a new, it feels like more naked, and both, the like, gosh, what if this doesn't stick? And also kind of like, whoa, what if it is, like, wow, what would it be like to be seen that way? And so there's I think, a surprising vulnerability around the time that I would take to present myself the way that that to be allow myself to be seen the way that I want to be seen. I think the other piece is like just some continued fear about the money stuff, like with my husband still on the job market, and and I I think I think I can get to that belief of like, if I put it in, it'll come back to me. And in the short run, I don't know if the short run is the seed, the frog, or the swan, but in the short run, it feels really scary.
It's the swan. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the space of grace and letting go and also developing trust. Yeah. It's all of that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I feel like in group sessions, sometimes we all tend to, and I know I do as well, need the need the answer.
Yeah.
And in
Yeah.
one-on-ones, it's easier to sit with, just be with what's there. And when you picked up the cat, I recognized, oh, it's nice to just sit with, like, like the cat was like your emotion, like.
Totally.
And even for you, Sonja, and even for me right now with the challenges I'm facing with the money bit, like, what if we sit with and invite these emotions here just for a few minutes, seconds, whatever's needed? It's okay if we're feeling terrified and we're feeling like vulnerable, and just giving ourselves permission to be okay to feel that. That it is here, it's a part of our process, and to invite that in. We invite you in fear, we invite you in terror. We invite you in vulnerability. We invite you in stuckness. We're with you and we see you.
I wish you could hear. Sola has like a motorboat purr. It's so loud that at the that they can't hear, they can never hear her heartbeat because her purr is so loud.
Uh,
But it has this quality of just like, okay, like whatever's here is here. Just mix it around, mix it around.
let's just sit here. That's exactly the energy that she brought.
Totally.
Good on you for picking up on that, Gopi. Because it does feel on one end feels like liberating to just like, oh yeah, I feel like I can relax into that, right? That it's going to be okay. And it also feels kind of sweet. Like, yeah, especially when you speak to it. Like if they're like our people, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. It has been actually like I'm really proud of my husband, and the way he's moving through this time of uncertainty. And every day there's like a bunch of activities that he does, and like most of them are like even more unsatisfying than the build. It's like, I did this informational interview, I did this application, like it's like even less signal than than a social media post that nobody clicks on. And the language that he's come around to of kind of like I did this thing and it kind of made me feel like a goober. And it's like, well, just name that. Okay. Just like be with that. And then yesterday he'd had like a couple of calls with some people that a friend had connected him to. And he was like, I'm just so grateful that this person is advocating for me. And like the calls hadn't resulted in like anything, like meaningfully different, but he was like, I just feel like I'm so grateful to have this person looking out for me. And then this is like a little bit backstory, but it's like part of the emotion. Like this friend who has been helping him out is someone he knows, someone Talal knows through a friend who died in a shooting in Tucson back in 2010. And that involved the congresswoman that they both worked for. And so Gabe, who passed away, was the mutual friend who knows Daniel, who's been helping Talal. And he was like, I feel Gabe like looking down over me. And I just like it was like, I'm both like so proud because like that was the kind of thing that he would like never have said or picked up on. And certainly that he like never would have said or picked up on in a time where that was like more rapid cycle transactions. But like to be in a time where it's like, okay, for a while, like you probably aren't going to get a lot of like, yes, a lot of yes, a lot of yeses. And so there's just going to be feelings that rise and letting them all come in. And I think that's like, that feels really relatable, like to, what I've been feeling in the build mode is like, it's not, you don't get up when you are just like draft something or you're working on something, you're like, there's not a lot of feedback, but like you get to have the wow, that was so cool, or like, oh, I'm so inspired by that, that other thing, or like, that's like that's frustrating or stuck, and all that gets to be there.
Yeah, there's so much here. Your build mode is connected to your very real husband's build mode, which is like very little response. And if anything, negative response. And it's having to stand up and do it again the next day and do it again the next day and not seeing any result. And it's God, it's intense. What is it that what is his job field?
He's worked in like humanitarian assistance and like disaster assistance, policy and planning. And
Yeah, this has not been this is like 6, 8 months
yeah,
of this.
yeah.
Not just a job, right? It's a way of being in the world. I mean,
Totally.
his job, I would imagine, having people like that is not just a job,
Right.
like belief in the way that we are together in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, completely, right? It's this like whole set of values that that overlays. And
to be right there in the atmosphere and the environment of like the opposite has been created right there in the DC area. So like aggressively.
yeah. Yeah. It's a reminder, like to our conversation from last week, where like the good and the right, that we're kind of like the better it, the more you feel the good, the more that you feel the hard stuff. And to like notice that, that like, the hard stuff that's around us has an impact, and inside, right, and like we inside of it, like we get to have a process that's just neutral, that's just like us choosing how we want to be of service to the world, and orienting ourselves to that version of that, and then like and then just caring for ourselves and one another, and resetting over and over again, because like, yeah, inside of the experience is just like a constant energetic exchange. And whether you're looking for a job or trying to sell a thing, right, it's just it's just the work. And like when the feelings are really big, it requires a lot of tending and a lot of grace, to come back to it.
Yeah. I'm learning myself from this call that when I hear a problem or see a problem in others or in myself, my go-to is to jump into the divine. And I don't want to do that too quickly specifically for myself. That like the way you held the cat, like to sit with the own parts of me that are needing to be sat with, instead of just like, oh, just channel like your question of like, okay, wait a minute, but we need to get a job and we need money, like, can we get a little down to earth here? That tendency to just spiritually bypass, which is also a beautiful thought, and also we have our spiritual tools, our practices that help us, but sometimes the spiritual practice is also just to sit with the pain and the feels. I'm just taking that as a note for myself. And I think I'm recognizing that I've been doing that a little this week, and it's still keeping me stuck because it's not really what's needed. What's needed was that I sit with myself in the pain. I don't know if both of you, what's landing here for you as we start wrapping up our call.
It definitely resonates with me. I never thought about it as a spiritual bypass. But that there's something about coming to ground, and honesty about coming to ground with what is and sitting with it, that is healing and hard, and also just very true.
Yeah, I think that is what what I've been craving is just a connectedness between what is, like what is right now and what is possible. And that approach to it, just like allowing in the emotional experience, the experience in the body, and to hold kind of the infinite possibility, the infinite creativity at the same time, and not to see it as not to see it as either or, right? That they're in relationship. Do you know Ross Gay's book? This one. This one, Inciting Joy.
Oh,
I'll send you the link to the opening. He writes he writes these books that sound very saccharine, like the Book of Delights, this book about joy, and then you think like, oh, this guy's just all like happy, joy all the time. And he kind of takes that on in the introduction to the book and says that joy is what comes from allowing everything in. And he has this imagined story about what would it be like if we along with all of our sorrows hosted a potluck and we invited everyone and they all brought their sorrows. And like what comes out of that, right? And it's not like, oh, I have this sorrow, so I'm not gonna have joy. It's like, oh, we have these things that are all here, and that we bring that, we like invite them to tea, we serve them some sauerkraut, we we dance with them, and and we do it together, we do it collectively, we don't sit alone with our sorrows. And from there we're like, that's the that's the abundance, that's the the community, that's the what I don't know, what I want in my life. And yeah, I'll send it to you. It's brilliant.
yeah.
I'd love that. That story.
You'll also, he's really into he's a gardener, and among, like, he's a teacher and a poet and an essayist, and also was like one of the godparents of a community orchard in Bloomington, Indiana. That's like a place where they planted these trees so that anyone could come and get fruit from the trees. Anyhow, so there's a lot of plant a lot of good plant vibes for you.
Right.
Thank you, Gopi. This was really, I didn't know that how much I needed this.
Thank you both. I need you too.
Yeah, thank you back. I really appreciate you too.
Me too. I want to like give you guys a hug right now. Feeling all opened up, and one day we'll be together. I mean, we're together now, but like,
Yeah.
all right.
All right.
See you next Wednesday, and I think we're doing pitches, right? Next Wednesday, just practice. We're practicing pitches.
Beautiful.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
See you. Bye.
Bye.